Hello, friends, and welcome to Syniti's Platform Focus Series, where we discuss the capabilities, products, and modules that make up Syniti's industry-leading enterprise data management solution, the Syniti Knowledge Platform. The SKP, as we call it, is a unified, comprehensive, cloud-based data management solution. And today we're going to be discussing the Syniti Knowledge Platform at a top level with one of its chief architects, Tyler Warden, Syniti's Senior VP of Product. Thanks for joining me today, Tyler.
Hey, Kevin, good to be here.
Hey, man, it's good to see you. And as I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about the Syniti Knowledge Platform itself, which includes a number of different products and modules, but is itself extremely unique in the marketplace. So I thought maybe we could start by, from your seat, giving us an overview of the SKP or a definition of what it really is from your perspective.
Yeah, so the Syniti Knowledge Platform, or SKP, we think about it as a data management platform designed to drive positive business outcomes. We wanted to really break down some of those traditional data management silos. We think it used to be you would deal with data quality over here and master data over here and replication over here and migration over here and cataloging over here and business glossary. What we want to do is try to break some of those barriers down. And really our mantra is trusted and understood data to drive business outcomes. Sometimes you need to transform data to get it into a place that's trusted. Sometimes you need to catalog it to understand it. Sometimes you need to optimize it to keep business processes running or get it in a place where data science and analytics teams know that it's there, they can work with it and get some insights from it. So breaking down traditional silos to drive positive business outcomes through trusted and understood data. And all the features, function, bells, whistles, widgets, and doodads that are really cool in the platform are really all about driving to those positive business outcomes.
Right. Obviously, being very, very business-focused outcome is one of the keys to the value Syniti brings to the table. Let's talk a little bit about the components or the modules inside of the SKP, because what you were just describing is a very unified platform, one that pulls together all these different capabilities. But inside of that, there's a lot of different modules or products really that sort of exist. So maybe you can just walk us through a list of those and what they look like, and maybe the terms that people would expect to hear out in the marketplace, different ways people describe things, and what the SKP brings to bear.
Yeah, I think the way to think about it is we have a baseline of underlying engines or components. So things like data validation, data transformation, role-based security, form generation, workflow, all of that stuff is foundational. Then on top of that, we have workflow-driven components. And those components deliver outcomes around enterprise data migration. So going from one set of transactional systems to a new set of transactional systems. Say you're going to SAP's S/4HANA or to Workday or Salesforce or Infor Cloud or SuccessFactors or any kind of new enterprise system, then we have that migration component. We also have data quality. So workflows around one-time assessments, jumpstart, ongoing data quality monitoring and remediation. We have master data management. So applying those concepts of validation, quality, harmonization, workflow to master data specifically. We also have components around cataloging your data assets. What are your data sets, your systems, your metadata management, both from a business and a technical side. So metadata management and data cataloging. We also have a data strategy component that kind of sits on top of that to help drive your data strategy in alignment to business outcome. And finally, one of our key components is reporting and analytics. So BI quality reporting, but over your data management activities. So visibility sits on top of everything that we do, and we believe in giving that real-time visibility. And finally, data movement and replication. So real-time replication, loading, APIs, being able to talk to, move data around in a heterogeneous enterprise landscape.
So not really not a lot going on there.
No.
So, it's interesting to hear you talk about all those different modules and capabilities inside of the platform. I would imagine there's a lot of connectivity because they're all inside the same location, same tool set. There's a lot of connectivity between those capabilities. And that's got to be very unique in the market.
We have this concept of reuse, which is a very simple term, but if you think about it, whenever an organization does anything with data, there's a lot of stuff that's learned. Call it intellectual property, investment, learnings, rule generation, findings. We gather all that up in the word that we like to use called knowledge, hence the Syniti Knowledge Platform. So once you do one initiative with the platform, your next data initiative is that much faster. So the more the platform does, the more it learns, the more richness gets put into it, and it tunes the generic platform to your organization, right? So that ability to have rules reuse, knowledge reuse, data set reference reuse, write it once, use it anywhere. It's those interlinks with underlying systems that really drives a lot of that kind of long-term value.
With that in mind, let's talk about a little bit of that value. When businesses are looking at working with Syniti, let's talk about a little bit about the use cases and the ways that they sort of think about the different types of projects or business issues or initiatives that they're trying to accomplish, so that they can get a lot of business value out of their data. And let's talk about some of the use cases that the SKP is leveraged for.
I think at the highest level, you should think about the use cases under two big categories: data transformation or data optimization. So the common transformation needs are around they've purchased or are upgrading a new enterprise system, they need to migrate data into it, or there's been a merger or acquisition, or there's been a divestiture, right? So those are major compelling initiatives to say, we need to go transform our data to go and meet this new business outcome, right? We got to go get this new system live. We got to integrate a new division or a new company. We need to spin something out to divest it. So those are data transformation needs. Optimization is about unlocking more value from the data they have now. Either it's not a high enough quality, or it's in the wrong place, or it's misunderstood, or there's too much of it, or it's not flowing where it needs to flow. All of those are data optimization. Now, maybe it's there's too much working capital leakage in the procure to pay process, or their Internet of Things initiative is stalled because of being able to source assets and equipment and devices correctly, or they're not getting the benefits at scale of their HCM investment because of data issues. So when data is not fit for purpose and needs to be made more trusted, more understood, just better, that falls under the data optimization. And there's always a business benefit of why that needs to happen, and those could range from working capital or P&L impacts, compliance, many things.
So, I mean, with that kind of extensive, sort of use cases and types of projects that businesses are going to be tackling, and the kind of challenges that exist inside of those, there's a number of different users that are going to need to be able to take advantage of the platform to be able to make sure that the transformation projects work properly, or the optimization projects are successful and actually add value. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of users that we see taking advantage of the platform, and that the platform is designed to support.
From a product perspective, we keep in mind this concept of crowdsourcing. In other words, just like it takes many people in an organization to execute any business process, so too does it take typically many people in an organization to orchestrate an end-to-end data process. So you have executive, project managers, business stakeholders, data stewards, data owners, IT staff, data scientists. And so really one of the benefits of the platform is they all bring their knowledge and experience in, and then based on who they are, they get a slightly different experience kind of tuned to them. The executives, dashboards, status, reports, quick to action. Data stewards can do kind of in-depth analysis of data and metadata. Project managers can set and understand how things are working to plan. IT users can connect and hook up and understand what the business needs about data and where it needs to flow. So you have various personas all the way from executives, again, to business users, to data stewards, to project managers, to IT staff, to implementers, to consultants, to a large variety of people that really crowdsource and collaborate within the platform. And we try very hard to meet each of those different groups of users kind of where they live.
Right. You don't want to be squeezing the business users deep into data
Correct.
mapping initiatives. So, well, speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about how the SKP is built. It really is technical foundations. As I mentioned earlier, the solution is cloud enabled, but let's get a little bit more into the details about SKP's architecture and how it's structured. Meaning, what should customers know about SKP as far as a technical solution or software solution?
I think the thing to know is we have what's called a hybrid cloud solution. So there is a cloud native multi-tenant kind of command and control area that's highly secure, that does things like metadata, cataloging, metrics, reporting, and that connects, that knowledge tier, we call it, connects to one or many, we call them stewardship tiers. And then the stewardship tier is where the data gets stewarded, right? It gets transformed or mastered. And that stewardship tier can live within our cloud environment for a full cloud delivery, but it can also be deployed in a hybrid model whereby, in an organization's use case, they can bring that stewardship tier under their control, either in their VPC, in behind their firewall, or wherever they want on their network. So we have a full cloud delivery model. We also have a hybrid model that keeps the data within the confines of an organization's network. So we think that's really what we need to know. 2 tiers, either full cloud or hybrid cloud delivered.
With that in mind, so we've talked about the SKP, the modules inside of it, the use cases, the users, how it's structured, how it's deployed. Let's just talk to finish it up. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits. Obviously, we'll get into more details when we're talking about the modules, each specific product inside of the SKP, but they have their own value proposition. But let's talk a little bit about how the SKP adds value to companies just by its very nature of being a platform.
I think that systems change, data storage mechanisms change, but the data kind of lives on. So I live in Atlanta, and there are many, like the Atlanta airport, right, has been around for years and years and years. And the address of the Atlanta airport may be in a travel or logistics system. And that record for the address of the Atlanta airport has been stored in this database and then moved over here and then made better, then put into this system, then moved over here and then archived off and then recreated. So throughout all that, the lifespan of all of these systems, the data continues to move, evolve, and change. And that's, we think, that kind of journey of data. And sometimes you need to transform that data. Sometimes you need to give it and merge it with other records. Sometimes you need to understand it better or add more metadata to it or add more data to it. And what really the underlying value of the Syniti Knowledge Platform is about having all of those tools in one place that continues to tie what's happening with that data to a positive business outcome. We all know that every organization has only so many resources to put to any given task. And so we are relentless about trying to drive the minimum resources to do the maximum value at the right time. And that's what the Syniti Knowledge Platform is about, having all those tools and capabilities to make the right decision to shepherd data throughout its journey, no matter what the business throws at you, right? Business agility through trusted and understood data by having all the capabilities you need within one platform.
Unified platform, that seems to be the order of the day and the driver of sort of Syniti's secret sauce and how we're delivering value to the marketplace. So this has been a lot to cover, and I think it's a really great overview, Tyler. Thank you for your time today. We're going to be working with the team to move through the different modules and different products inside of the SKP over the next few weeks, and look forward to have another conversation with you again soon.
Love it. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, buddy.